games. So, speaking of bans, maybe we can talk about that. Do you think we're going to see the usual suspects banned,
Definitely,
or
definitely. I think that they're going to get taken out. We're going to see. Let's see how fast these go. I think Keeper is going to get banned. I think Nyx will probably be banned. Maybe they'll take out a Lifestealer this time. They'll probably have to take out the Magnus. There went PL. First choice. Get his ass out of there.
yeah?
That's pretty
After what
funny.
we saw from last game, I think that's a wise decision. I mean, what did that Phantom Lancer have last time? That last match, Manta style, uh, Heart of Tarask. I mean, like he was just out of
Did he
control.
have a Manta? I didn't notice.
Yeah, he had a Manta.
Okay.
Had a Manta style, and yeah, couldn't stop the guy. So first ban for Dota Quebec is Magnus. It's funny. I think we've seen like maybe one match where he was played, and pretty much all the other matches, I think he's been banned.
Get him out of here. You know what?
Get him out.
And I just would like to make a special shout out to Dota Quebec because maybe our viewers didn't know, but Dota Quebec weren't supposed to play today. They snuck in, which was fantastic because they've shown us some good Dota. So although they could only get into the losers bracket, so they haven't lost a single match today. They have just gone through playing so hard, not losing, and working their way up to the top. So good for them.
Oh, good on
Yeah.
them. Absolutely. Playing some really good Dota. With that said, Farming All Day has selected their first pick, and it is none other than Batrider.
Yep. So they just they used up those bans, and someone who normally gets banned, and they wanted him out of there. They didn't get it. Batrider's in.
He is in.
What a versatile hero.
I'm just looking at this picture by Farming All Day every day. Is that somebody with a pitchfork?
I think so. I think so. Yeah.
Some old dude or old woman? I don't
Yeah.
know. I can't tell.
Old gendered character. A farmer probably. And they they probably do spend all day and every day farming. So makes sense. A Darkseer. Okay. There's an interesting choice.
Very common choice. that I've seen
Very.
every single match, one or the other team, either team has a Darkseer.
He's basically a staple, and we've seen evidence of his power, and
It's
consistently.
so true. Like the I think one of the things that makes him such a standout hero, it's his wall of replica. I
Yeah.
mean, we've seen it time and time and again during this tournament, and how effective it can be in shutting down those team fights. With all the replicas running around doing so much damage, especially if it's one that has an Aghanim scepter. So
You know what I haven't seen a lot of? Because we noticed the Shadow Demon and the Clinks are back in this game, and we've seen them consistently today. People who I have seen often at Pro Dota level, but not in any of today's matches that I've noticed, would be someone like an Invoker or someone like an Enchantress. Those characters who are extremely versatile, haven't noticed.
no, you're right on the money with that one. We have not seen, I don't think, a single match with an Invoker or Enchantress. So that's kind of interesting. And who knows? Maybe we're gonna see it this match.
Maybe, knock on wood, we'll get some variety. But
Not.
no, there it is. I heard the knock. We're all good. Oh, a gyro. Okay, we gotta have a gyrocopter. So he can do his crazy DPS. Good times. Yep. Look at that
Absolutely.
mustache. That's a fantastic mustache.
That is a serious mustache he
Wow.
has going on there.
Look at that. That's like 2 feet of mustache on either side. Jeez. All right, so I know what level
Speaking
of
of
mustache I
facial
want.
hair, we see the Nature's Prophet here rocking that pretty solid what is that, beard, goatee,
Yeah.
whatever the
Yeah.
hell it is growing out of his face. Nature's Prophet, definitely one of our heroes that we have seen time and time and again, either being banned or picked. And once again, we do see him picked,
Right.
in this case, rather.
Yep.
And of course, we have seen some amazing playing Nature's Prophet so well and so impressively that we can only expect the same thing to be seen and again, especially so late in the tournament where we're just seeing the best of the best
We are.
of today's teams.
Yeah, we're seeing some exceptional matches with some exceptional players. So it is a privilege to be here, and I'm glad Armata Games has provided this opportunity for us. So Rubik has been taken out, along with Luna. So we don't want her crazy AoE, albeit short-ranged madness, and we don't want his telekinesis and ability stealing. Right?
I think so. Well, depending on which team you're rooting for. I mean, I want to see some craziness and I want to see some crazy spell stealing, silences, and all that stuff. But unfortunately, with these two heroes, we're not going to be seeing any of that.
Nope.
With that said, Queen of Pain has been banned as the 4th ban by Faded. That is farming all day, every day. And in response to that ban, we have a 4th ban done by DQC, which is Sven. And again, like it's like, you know, Groundhog Day or like just deja vu. Like, you know, we're almost seeing the same kind of team comps again and again throughout this tournament. So the last 2 final picks for both these teams, I'm really excited to see what they're going to be. But before we can go there with those picks, we have a Storm Spirit that has been banned by as the final ban for farming all day every day. And
see why I'm curious to know why they're anticipating that another carry would be going in. We've got the Clinks, we've got the Nature's Prophet.
Yeah.
And then they banned because they didn't want a Queen of Pain or a Storm Spirit to pop out. I wouldn't have thought that that's the direction they would go anyway. So, okay.
Yeah, that is a indeed.
Yeah. Anyway, so the Sven's gone. Who might they be? I'm thinking they're gonna go for some more support because Shadow Demon wouldn't be sufficient support on his own. Lena's been a popular choice today, so maybe we'll see a ban by DQC on Lena.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see a disruptor picked, perhaps. Like he's been picked a couple of times.
Yeah. Oh,
so,
Lifestealer.
You know what's interesting too. Like we haven't seen any Shadow Shamans picked. We haven't seen any Dazzles picked.
No.
I'm trying to think of the other one.
Lion. I like a good lion.
Or I can't believe I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but you'll know as soon as I say the phrase. Look at it go.
Oh, look at it go! Witch Doctor.
Yeah. Witch Doctor.
Love him.
Like, we haven't seen any of those kind of players or those heroes rather.
Look at it go.
Picked. So who knows? Maybe we will in this game.
Maybe. Tide Hunter. Okay.
Oh,
Haven't seen him in a while.
No, I haven't seen him quite a bit actually. Him in that Ravage ult's probably one of the most damaging ultimates that you can see in Dota. And I think it's a really complimentary hero to pick, considering that Ravage, it's great. You know, like you have Tidehunter blinking in there, casting off that ult, and then Gyrocopter with the call down, everybody being stunned, and plus the Demonic Purge by Shadow Demon, and of course the Firefly.
Lots of fire.
By Bats. So I think farming all day, every day, they definitely have a pretty solid comp going on. And, you know, not to take anything away from DQC whatsoever, Warlock being picked, having his own pretty damaging, devastating ults.
Yeah,
with,
you get a Refresher and an Agams, and you've got ridiculous quantities of Golems running around.
Everywhere.
Oh my goodness, everybody gets a Golem.
How many Golems have we seen in one game before?
I think 4.
Was it 4
You can max
or 6?
at 4, right?
Well, yeah, if you have Refresher Orb and... Well, I guess, yeah, 4 max. So much fun. So many Golems. That's what we see, many Golems.
Yep.
So, last pick for farming all day, every day is... being decided.
You know what surprises me? I can't remember if I mentioned this in a prior match or not, but Enigmas. Where are the Enigmas?
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Like,
they've not been in this tournament whatsoever. Yeah. So, you know, I guess it's one of those things too. Like, you know, we like to assume that most people who play Dota, you know, like are pretty decent at all the heroes, but I guess, you know, they're going with, you know, the best guys like they're good with. And for the final pick for their carry, interestingly, is a Necromite. And wow, now this is the first is a Medusa. Wow. What do you think of this final pick for DQC, Medusa? I mean, I think this is the first time that we've seen Medusa picked in this tournament.
I think so
too.
Think? That's I think kudos to them for doing something different. I'm really interested to see they've got a lot of ranged carry right now, but an interesting mix because they can slow down with Medusa's ult. They can vacuum, do crazy amounts of DPS with Clinks, trapping. Oh, I don't know. There's a lot going on here. I think they've got a really dynamic team that has a lot of potential.
Well, whatever the case is going to be in this match, I think Team QC is going to really have to push. Actually, no, I apologize. Faded is going to have to make a good push to finish this game sooner rather than later, just because of the fact I think with the carries picked by DQC, you know, it's when we have a pause here for some particular reason. But
Yeah, somebody
yeah, just with that
crashed.
said, I think it's been happening every single match. I think
Yeah.
it's that ninja patch from yesterday. It's got to be.
Damn
Damn
ninjas.
ninja patch.
Yeah,
I
listen
know.
to this. But no, you are absolutely right. I think that when it comes to a later game, that we're going to see a brutal Clinks, we're going to see a brutal Nature's Prophet. So sure, they're going to want to shut that down because the greatest carry potential that Faded has would be their gyro. So um, that's tricky. Oh, we've got a Shadow Ranger, the
Somebody's
Warlock's
mother
mom
is
is watching. That's
watching.
lovely.
That's
That's
so sweet.
lovely. So shout outs to that means she's listening to us. So shout outs to Warlock's mom. We hope you're having just a great afternoon watching some Dota.
Well,
All
with
right.
that said,
Yeah, let's do some
I
calls.
guess
Who's playing what? Who's playing what, Devo?
yeah, we could start with Team DQC. Um, so who's playing Medusa? We have Le Lumdun.
Dum dum.
I think apologize if I'm not pronouncing that right. Slappy Leroy is playing Clinks. Joish is playing Nature's Prophet. Legend Scary is playing Darkseer, and Shadow Ranger will be playing none other than Warlock.
Very satisfying. And now I'll flip over to the Dire, and we've got Theory is Faded as our gyrocopter. We've got Faded Kaibi. Kaibi? Let's go with that, sure. As the Bat Rider. Faded Corey is going to play like Necrolite. Tidehunter will be played by Faded Dimitri. That's an easy one to say. And King Kraken. Oh, you know, King...
That's my favorite.
He's good, a Shadow Demon. But he should have been Tidehunter. How appropriate would that be?
I know.
Because Tidehunter is basically a Kraken. And look at that hat that he's wearing. That is a sporty looking hat. I love that. That's great. I'm going to get me one of those.
Is that a squid?
It's a squid or an octopus. And just as our trivia for the day, Dota watchers, it's important to know that the plural form, the correct plural form of octopus is, of course, octopodes. So now we know something different, and that's important to know. So if anybody asks you why the hell is it octopodes, you say, well, because when we transfer a word from another language, we need to transfer their spelling conventions, their pronunciation and conventions, and from Greek, the plural form of octopus would be octopodes. So, the more you know, Dota watchers.
You are just a fountain of knowledge.
Yep.
With that said, we have our lanes breaking out. We have Necrolite going up to the top lane for Team Faded, and bottom lane Shadow Demon followed not too far behind with Tidehunter and possibly a tri-lane forming up for the bottom lane for Faded. The lanes, I apologize, last one, Bat Rider going mid, and we have a Darkseer on Team DQC waiting for that rune, most likely going to be going top. Mid lane, Medusa, no surprise there. Bottom lane, we do have Warlock and Clinks, and I think we have Nature's Prophet just chilling in the woods. Chilling in the fountain, just biting.
This aggressive tri-lane, I wonder if they're going to catch the Warlock off guard. Yeah. They might, and the disruption from the Shadow Demon could really set him off, but I think they're going to back off. They're going to play safe. Warlock's going to play safe anyway.
Yeah, definitely safe. And Tide's got some items here, eh? Look what he's carrying there. He's got that nifty hat, but he's got that ball and chain there.
Oh, yeah, you mean those add-ons? Absolutely. I was looking at the actual items. So we see Warlock is just kind of strutting around. I don't know whether he realizes that there is some serious illusion damage just lurking there, ready to jump on him, that gyro in the jungle and trees. So
well, they have their wards set up in the bottom jungle now. Tidehunter just putting up the other one. Tri-lane is set. Clinks, he's going to have to play it safe, and rightly so, picking Skeleton Walk being a wise choice, especially going against three heroes from the Faded side. The top lane, Necrolite will be going off against Darkseer. And for the mid lane, we do have Medusa going against Bat Rider. So nothing really too unusual to be seen just right yet. Warlock is hanging around mid. Top lane looks to be actually making his way up to the top lane and setting up some wards, I do believe. And going back down to the bot lane, we do have this tri-lane forming, and I guess, they're just waiting for an opportunity.
Yeah, they'll wait it out. I appreciate what the Gyro did by taking his illusions and sticking them over here in the camps so that it would mess up the early farm that they knew the Natures would be wanting to do in the jungles. So that was good, stifling his progress just a little bit there.
See, I got to appreciate like that kind of stuff. You're absolutely right. Like, it's the little details like that that a lot of players tend to miss, but it's the small things like that that add up that make the big differences.
They add up over time.
They really do add up. Like, this is a game of numbers, right? So, like, if you're ahead in more ways than one, you're going to win most likely. It doesn't all necessarily have to do with ganks and, like structural pushes, but like it's the little things like that that can make big differences.
They add up in those matches, in the team fights. So you got the numbers on your side, and as long as it's numbers and not being stupid. You have to have the combination of the two.
Yes, you need a little bit of intelligence.
Yeah.
So, so with that said, we do have a little bit of action going up here. Warlock making a push against Necrolite. Necrolite making his way back. He does have that death pulse that can keep him going. Warlock still going shot for shot. Darkseer casting that surge, possibly a first blood. Ion Shell casted. Darkseer taking a little bit of tower damage. Who's teleporting in here? Shadow Demon, but he will get here a little bit too late, and both of the teams are backtracking.
So not bad timing. It didn't cause a problem, but nothing but harass so far. We see the Bad Rider's doing a lot of riding around on his fire, just cruising and setting flames to everything on the map there. But again, nothing but harassment.
It's just harassment so far. We do have a little bit something has possibly materializing here in the bottom lane, but that is not the case. However, Tidehunter has notably put down a sentry ward to counter Klinks' Shadow Walk. So Klinks, I hope he is checking out the inventory boxes of his opponents down here, because if he's not, then he might be caught in first blood. Going up to the top lane now, Warlock is still going against Shadow Demon and Necrolite with Darkseer, disruption being cast on Warlock. And Warlock, wow, he is stuck in that disruption. Really nice disruption by Shadow Demon, but it won't be enough. They weren't in the position to really attack, and I don't think Necrolite was aware of the short opportunity that was available to him. So.
That was he was just waiting for that chance, knowing that when he was at that corner of those trees that he'd be able to trap him in there with those illusions.
And going down to the bottom lane, Klinks was under some significant pressure by Tidehunter. Tidehunter almost scoring the first blood against Klinks, but it wasn't enough. And that is the consequence of an early game. Such low-level skills and everything right now. Going up to the top, Warlock Surge is being cast. It's not going to be enough. First blood going to Necrolite, Shadow Demon. And first blood goes to Farming All Day, Every Day. They get their first kill, and very well played. And, I had a sense that first blood was actually going to be going to Faded, but like that Shadow Demon, this disruption. I mean, did you see that? Like the guy knows how to cast
how to disrupt. The master disruptor.
That's right.
But he's not called Disruptor. Maybe they should consider that. The naming. No, it's all good. So that was good. I wonder how they're going to use that gold to try and tilt this early advantage. Let's check out some last hits. We're seeing that again. The Gyro is doing very well. Medusa's I think triumphing in mid compared to the Bat Rider. No, they're pretty close though. They're only about one off. And Necro, always Necro doing rather well with his last hits.
Necrolite's got a pretty good. He has a lot of good spells that complement some good farming, capabilities there, and. Yeah, he is definitely holding his own. How many last hits does he have? Yeah, 20. So he's doing all right.
Yeah. And denies, so doing his job. Doing his job.
Speaking of denies, how many last hits and denies have you ever had in one match? Anything stand out for you?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe because if I was a really strong hero, I might like Sniper. It's pretty easy for Sniper to pick up a lot, right? Or who knows, any number of carries late in game can just destroy. But I find it more significant when I'm trying to calculate those numbers early on. Within the first 10 minutes, that would be an achievement if I've got like 30 or something.
Absolutely. So with that said, going back to the top lane, we do see another disruption being cast by Shadow Demon against Warlock. Warlock making a hasty retreat against those illusion images. Given by, we have Necrolite casting his Death Pulse doing some significant damage against Darkseer. Darkseer is in a little bit trouble right now, and so is Necrolyte. So it's a little bit of a seesaw battle between these two opponents, but it does seem that they're going to make their play it safe rather than be sore.
That's for sure.
Going down to the mid lane, we have Tidehunter getting pretty close to that Nature's Prophet, and then I think there's a little bit of Fog of War, so I don't think Shadow, Nature's Prophet, is aware that Tidehunter is just standing like a couple of feet away from him. So Tidehunter is not doing anything. I think he's waiting for an opportunity to take place. We do have Batrider with an invisibility rune, just broke it. Warlock now making his way down to the bottom rune area, and Batrider making a retreat beside his tower.
Yeah, so everybody's kind of playing it safe. Nothing too dramatic, nothing too game-changing. People who need to be farming are farming, and let's see who's... the Necro is actually leading in terms of worth, but Medusa's hot on his heels with Batrider and Gyro, both at 2,400 gold in their worth. So, pretty average game so far.
Yeah, I'd definitely say it's like both teams are definitely playing it safe. They are having a conservative match. I mean, this is almost shaping up to being the kind of match I think we caught the end of during the last match where we saw so few kills. Yeah, it was like more of a farming match than more of a kill match, because like when you reach this kind of level of Dota, you know, the players are smart. You know, they're not going to be overextending themselves that we usually do see with players that may I don't know, maybe overconfident or maybe not as skilled. So with that said, we do have Shadow Demon making a push against Darkseer. Shadow Demon may have bitten a little bit more than he can chew, but he does make a retreat back up to his top tower with his little buddy there, Necrolyte.
Yeah, such good buddies.
Yeah, they're just two peas in a pod.
So I'm wondering, I'm just looking at our bot lane right now, trying to see if there's going to be anything significant against this Clinks, because Clinks isn't someone you really want to let get farmed. And he's not certainly leading in terms of farm, but...
It's the problem with Clinks, though, like, you know, playing him, it takes such a long time to get him going. Like, once he's really on the ball is when he has that Orchid Malevolence.
Yeah.
Until then, though, it's like just... It's a game of patience with him. Like, you know, there's not much you can really do unless... If you want to be one of the more of those bold players that would... kind of roam and look to capitalize on some kills, but it can easily backfire on you, because if you don't get those kills, you're missing out on the XP, you're missing out on the gold, and before you know it, the match is going to be 35 minutes old, and you're not even going to have your Orchid yet.
That is an issue.
It's a huge issue. So, you know, with Clinks, he is a fantastic hero. I do enjoy playing him quite a bit, but for those players out there that like the games that go pretty quick, or like, you know, to be in the action, you know, Clinks may not be for you. At least if you're not the patient type.
Right. Wait it out. So if we go top, we see that Darkseer is putting on... He's got his eye on, so he's trying to do a little bit of harass, push this lane a little bit closer to the tower. But there's no reinforcement yet. We're not getting any tri-lane action, so nothing really is materializing out of this. Both teams, I think, are playing pretty chill, because this is... They only get one chance, and then they'd be removed from this game. So it's an important time to play it safe, I think.
Yeah, this is our do or die match, I believe, as we were discussing in the beginning, and it's definitely a conservative match based on what we can see. We're 10 minutes in, and what are our stats? How are the levels looking for all of our heroes?
Levels wise, we've got Medusa and Clinks for the Radiant, who are both leading with 9 and 8. Obviously, Medusa's in our mid. Batrider is leading because he's the mid for the Dire, so he's got the most there. Necro, who is still in terms of net worth the top, but he is only a level 7. Oh, just got level 8. Good for him. What a good guy. And then our jungling Nature's Prophet is down for about 6. Ooh, and Gyro not doing particularly well for a carry, and the hardest carry on Faded's team. He's only a level 6. So that might come to bite them in soon in some team fights, and then having a prediction for later on in the game.
Oh, I'm just looking at mid lane right now, seeing what Batrider could possibly do here. He had illusions bottled. He couldn't do too much with it, with Medusa and that Mystic Snake taking them out pretty much with one shot. He does have double damage, but there's not much looks to be coming out of that. Going up to the top lane, we do have Warlock stacking those creeps by the looks of it. Yeah, and looks to be for the advantage for Darks here to get that additional farm. And going down to the bottom lane. Oh, there we go. Warlock has been taken out by Necrolite. I didn't even see that coming.
Yeah,
that just came
that was quick.
The Reaper's Scythe, it's such a deadly ultimate that pretty much just, yeah, killed him.
Yeah,
Warlock
shuts it down pretty quick. And he is chasing now the Darkseer, but the Darkseer are very hard to catch. Didn't even need to cast his speed. He was just out of there.
Definitely. So, with that said, Necrolite and Shadow Demon are doing significant damage to that tier 1 tower. It does look like they could possibly pull it off. I'm not sure if it's been cast there. It is
the glyph.
Fortification has been casted by the Radiant, and even with that said, though, with that cast, I don't know if they're going to be able to pull back and stop this tower from going down, and it's not the case. Necrolite and Shadow Demon successfully taking down that first tower and giving another good chunk of gold for Team Fated.
And in equal terms, well, almost equal, the Clinks, who's at bottom, is trying to hold off, but the Radiant Tower is taking quite a bit of damage as well. So the Gyro and the Tidehunter have been putting it on as thick as they can to try and whittle this tower down. And here they go, bring it down, but they're also going to put a little bit on Clinks.
Clinks is in a little bit of trouble, not sure if there's a sentry ward up. He is going to push back far enough, and yes, that missile actually was negated by Shadow Walk by the looks of it. And with that said, that missile was cast, and it was enough to push Clinks back far enough where Team Fated got their second tier 1 tower. So good on them. That's another chunk of gold that's going to be going in favor of Team Fated, and Team DQC is going to have to look to start countering this gold advantage that seems to be picking up for Team Fated.
Isn't that the truth, Devo? Isn't that the truth? So we see...
That's all I speak, my friend.
XP. Only about a 1,000 difference for the Radiant. And then gold obviously is tipping in favor of...
Going into the mid lane, Medusa's in significant trouble. That the lasso's been cast, call down being made by Gyrocopter, and now Gyrocopter's in a lot of trouble right now, taking hits by Clinks. Sprout by Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet now is in big trouble, and there's the Reaper's Scythe taking out Nature's Prophet, and now it's Warlock getting the bad end of that one, and Necrolite, wow, a triple kill going from what was it, a 2-0 lead up to a big fat juicy 5-0 lead, and Necrolite, he's doing it. He's got a 4-0 kill count.
I'd go so far as to say that that escalated quickly.
Yeah, it did, and this escalation is still continuing. Pressure is being brought on by Team Fated. They are looking to take down that second
or do as much damage as they can. They have the momentum.
Exactly, and you know, this is one thing I see a lot of teams in Dota, like particularly like you know, you and I, we play quite a few pub games, and anybody that's watching this right now who does play a lot of Dota, when you have an opportunity to push, you should keep pushing. A lot of people, they're like, oh, we got a tower, let's back off. That's like a huge mistake. You have momentum, you have to capitalize on the momentum. If you don't, well, guess what's going to happen? Your opponent is going to counter. Is going to, you know, possibly turn the game against you. So,
if you have an advantage, you need to make it an advantage rather than just letting it pass by, right? So you got to judge and see where the when your opponents are going to be back, when they've respawned, and that's when you got to start playing more logically. But use those advantages when they come, right? Don't waste cooldowns.
And, you know, just going back to what we were talking about at the beginning of this match. Oh, before I go with that point,
Necro.
Like, some serious trouble, maybe getting a little too cocky, overextending himself, and making a pretty good idea of backing off. He will be teleporting. He does have Shadow Word and Fatal Balance on him, so good on Necrolite. Good choices. He's making good choices, backing off.
Good choices were made.
Yep, good choices, not the dim ones.
Nope.
Yeah. So continuing on now, Shadow Demon is being grouped up together with Batrider. He looks to be keeping that pressure up there. Right now, we have Nature's Prophet farming those Ancients. Shadow Demon picking up on this, possibly a ward there, stopping any more farming happening there, at least for now.
Oh no!
Lassoed is Nature's Prophet, and he will be taken down by Batrider, by the FD, and that stands for Flame Break. And yes, that's another kill going to Faded. And you know what's interesting? Like, we were talking about this, the fact that Team DQC has, I think, in my opinion, an advantage for carries. And we were talking about Team Faded have to put the pressure up. This is exactly what they're doing. This is exactly what I thought, you know, we would see, and they're living up to the potential of this their team. Like, they have to get going. They have to finish this game soon. We're 16 minutes into the match, maybe 6-0, but if they let this go on too long, Medusa, Clinks, and Nature's Prophet can get really out of hand.
Yep. So this is exactly what they need to do to survive and to win this match. And they're going to be putting on that pressure, maintaining that pressure as quickly as they can to give themselves an advantage that QC's not going to be able to come back from. See that? Look at Medusa. She's just able to bounce that little snaky bugger off of everybody, and unfortunate amounts of damage.
So heavy damage. Really good damage. And with that said, Nature's Prophet in a little bit of trouble right now. Surge being cast on him. Homing missile is going in on him. And we do have a Batrider blinking in there. Nice lasso on Warlock. Warlock's light it down on this one. Replica wall being cast, Ravage being cast by Tidehunter. We have a double kill now by Necrolite, taking out Darkseer and Medusa in the process. Very well played by this team with a 9-0 lead. Team Faded is having both hands on the steering wheel, and they're driving away with another team fight that led that ended in their favor.
All right, an excellent analogy there, Devo. And we're seeing just there's not a lot of competition right now. Unfortunately, the steepness of the advantage that's heading for the Dire right now. We're talking 5,000 in gold, we're talking 3,000 in experience, and a tower that is just about to melt.
Yeah, they're definitely putting a lot of pressure tonight. You know, you have to think about Team QC, like what they're thinking right now. Like, they have to put an end to this momentum, or at least slow it down. We do see Clinks now getting close to that Orchid Malevolence, having 2 Oblivion staffs. He's about 500 gold away from getting that recipe that he so desperately needs to help out his team, because they have to slow it down. Team Faded is just starting to run away with this match, and right now Medusa is farming up top lane, and she may be caught here. Yes, we do have Medusa under significant threat. Casting that mana shield is not going to be enough, and we have a wicked 6 streak now done by Faded Corey, who is playing Necrolite so very well. That is his 7th kill of this match, Trevor.
Yeah, this Necro is just stomping on people. Way to go, Necro. So playing extremely well, playing extremely aggressively, but wisely, intelligent plays.
Good choices.
Good choices are made.
This game.
Absolutely. Well, I'm not sure what it is that QC could do right now that would really save them. As you mentioned before, the Clinks is working on bringing up that Orchid Malevolence, and he's pretty close to that, but look at the pressure that's going on here, and he's nowhere to be seen. So.
No, it's true too, and I'm curious to know, like Nature's Prophet is starting to, like, do what he's got to do in terms of taking out those towers. He has quite a bit of gold. I'm not sure what he's aiming to get, but whatever is going to happen, like, if the tide of this battle is going to turn, it has to turn now. Otherwise, we're going to see some Rax is going down.
Yeah.
And it's no good for anybody. Going up near mid lane, Gush being cast by Tidehunter against Clinks. Clinks is going to make a hasty retreat. With that said, a sentry ward has been placed near that top rune area by Tidehunter, doing a really pretty good job of supporting his team where he can. Does have arcane boots and is putting up wards. Pretty much doing his best to take Clinks out of this game. With that said, Necrolite going down bottom, trying to, it looks like he's going to be going for that sheep stick with 2,800 gold. He has the Mystic Staff, so, and also a mechanism already. It's pretty impressive. So,
yeah, he's been turning his farm into good use. Oh, and this Clinks, I wonder if this Clinks feels competent enough to take this Necro out on his own. Let's see.
He does have Orchid Malevolence. I think it's going to be a questionable call if he goes 1 versus 1. Silence has been cast. Lynx is going to go for the gold, taking down a good chunk of his health, but for some reason he decides to back off. That's a questionable call in my opinion. Maybe he didn't have an idea where his Necrolite's teammates were in terms of their position.
They have no vision north of the river. So
Yeah, like don't really see. I can understand, I guess, like why he backed off. We do have Shadow Demon right now with a double damage rune that's just about to wear off. It's not going to really have any consequence possibly for this next engagement. But with that said, we do have 4 of Team Fader making their way down bottom lane, and Medusa may possibly get caught once again with very little mana, so that mana shield won't do too much. We do have Batrider using that Force Staff to possibly catch up to Medusa, and with the Blink Dagger, blinks in, casting the Firefly and trying to move in. Medusa's trying to get away from this, and it's going to be very difficult to see. And nice juke by Medusa. Batrider going down south, and Medusa making a good movement going back north, and she's going to get away for the time being. With that said, we do have Team Fated still in a position to possibly go for that tier 2 tower bottom lane.
We had our first kill by the Radiant. QC's Clinks was able to take down Shadow Demon, so he caught him in the middle of nowhere and took him down. That was a good play. That's doing what Clinks is good at.
See, once again, like once you have that Orc and Malevolence, you know, there's so much opportunity for Clinks. And Clinks
oh no, he's a pig.
Off guard, he turns into a
and he's bacon.
And that is it for him. Warlock casting that deadly ball of ultimate of his Wall of Replica being cast, and there's all sorts of trouble now for Team QC. No choice but to back off. BKB being casted by Gyrocopter, and that bottom tier 2 tower is most likely up for grabs for Team Fated. And what do you do when you're Team QC right now? Like,
hit enter and then GG.
Let's not call it so
no,
soon.
we're not gonna call it. Do not call it yet.
We are 22 minutes into this match. It is a 13-1 lead by Team Fated, and they just got their tier 2 tower. I personally like the pace of this match. It has certainly picked up. The first 5-8 minutes of this match was a little bit of a sleeper, but with that said, there is quite a bit of action happening now. We do see Team Fated making a motion going towards that Roshan. And who do you think is going to take it?
Oh, let's go with probably Gyro. I guess Gyro. He's got the room for it, and why not? He's doing pretty crazy damage, and they would want to keep him in. He's their DPS, so they would want to keep him around.
I think that's a pretty good call. Or how about maybe Necrolite?
Perhaps, but Necro is just so good at staying alive. Let's see what happens. Survey says Necro.
It's called that shit. Alright.
Called that stuff.
Right. Still farming way down bottom the jungle area, and we do see Team Fated making a motion to go towards the mid lane. There are wards up all over the place. They do have some pretty decent vision. It looks to be that they are going to make a move for that mid lane. All the tier 2 towers and tier 1 towers have been taken out by Team Fated, so there's no other area to go to. You know, so we're gonna see what's gonna happen here. We do have Shadow Demon casting that Shadow Poison, not hitting anybody. Going in after the creeps is Necrolite, Gyrocopter, and Tide Hunter. Tide Hunter does have Ravage up, so does Necrolite. Necrolite having that Reaper's Sight.
Yeah.
And,
oh no!
All sorts of trouble. Ravage being cast, really well played. Darkseer doing the best that he can to help out his teammates, casting Surge and Wall of Replica to fend off this attack by Team Fated. And will it be enough? Nature's Prophet is in there, can do some significant damage possibly. Necrolite in godlike with that deadly Death Pulse, and at this point, there's all sorts of trouble for Team QC. With that said, Clinks has been picked, and Clinks has gone down. Double kill from Necrolite, and Necrolite with that Aegis. Almost forgot about that. Medusa being taken out.
Yeah, and did you see she was wailing on him? He would not go down. Necro now is able to take out the Warlock with no problem at all. Except he is going to back off because Clinks too much aggression. Clinks has their DPS, so he is going to be a threat, but not enough of a threat, I think, this late into the game.
I don't know, it's really difficult to say. Like, they did so much damage on that tier 3 tower, so it could possibly be only a matter of time, but they need Team DQC, they really need to have a team fight or two that goes into their favor. And, you know, with that said, I think it's kind of questionable that Necrolite went so far in. I think he might have overextended himself by losing that Aegis. So
I think the benefit of what he did was he probably did make Team QC pooped their pants a little bit, and that's worth something. I mean, it is a psychological game, and seeing all the power that they had to just go in there. I mean, they didn't take the tower, but they were just stomping them. So I think that was a symbolic in a sense.
Absolutely, I have to agree with you. We do see Clinks making a move up towards Shadow Demon, silencing him, and holy crap, you just see the health bar going down, but he missed the last 2 shots. Shadow Demon is going to get away somehow. Lasso being cast on Clinks, it's such a bad day for him. It doesn't.
Yep. He went for the courier. He went for the courier.
It's such a questionable call. We do have Darkseer taking significant damage. BKB being cast by Gyrocopter, homing missile going in on Darkseer, and there's no way.
He got run over. Run over by fire.
GG for him.
GG for him. Yeah, so we've got everyone except Shadow Demon now pushing for the Dire. Gonna go in. They want that last tower. They're not gonna get it. It's gonna go down, but it's gonna be denied by Medusa. So now they just have free racks, and here it goes. Stomp, stomp, stomp.
Well, they're gonna have to wait on those creeps though, because of the
healing.
But with that said, the creeps are there. That barracks is going down, and for anybody that is watching Dota, our matches right now, if you're new to it, you always want to go for that right back barracks. With that said, Necrolite getting another kill, taking out Medusa in the process, and that puts Necrolite up to an amazing 11 kills. I think that's he's doing pretty well.
I think it is. And there's a GG call. They know that there's no coming back from this. 5v21, it is over for the Dire, the Dire, who did an excellent job. It's over for the Radiant. Oh, that lasso just taking Nature's Prophet away. Even his teleport ability is so good at cruising the map is not good enough to cruise out of the fiery grips of that burning rope.
So, some closing thoughts about this match. Anything that stands out for you? Team DQC is going to be bowing out, and you did mention in the beginning of this that you know, they entered into the tournament, I think, what was it, late? And they hadn't lost a game yet.
They hadn't.
And they've made it pretty far.
And wasn't it tragic that other teams had the opportunity to lose a couple times and stay in, but these guys, or yeah, QC, they lost a single match, and that happened to be the one match that took them out. So, anyway, it was a noble attempt, and we saw some excellent plays. This game, I think, Necro just had such a tremendous advantage that he was able to support his team and get the kills. So Medusa, there she goes down to the Ravage one more time. There's nothing to stop it. So, oh, kind of a little cocky there for the Bat Rider trying to snap someone.
Trying to get some last orders and yeah, I think it was a pretty good, well-fought match. Both teams, they played pretty conservatively in the beginning. But once this match began to open up, I think right around the time when Necrolite got to about, I think, his 6th or 7th kill, it was just pretty much to the point where QC couldn't recover from the momentum swing. So, and again, you know, like, we do see a lot of our successful teams strategically taking out tower after tower. They don't back off, and a lot of teams who do back off, that's where you do see a little bit of a seesaw. So good on Team Faded. They will be moving on in our tournament, and I guess with that said,
that is all for now. So we will be watching our next match, which will be between Faded and Lazura. So look forward to that.
So exciting.
Viewer